and also my classmates, actually, I feel like I'm learning a lot from them, from their experience, because many of them have several work experience previously.
Okay.
And actually, I didn't have any work experience before.
And
So
would you say that's more the domestic American students, or
that
your fellow?
that was my second point
Okay.
that is related about Americans, because I feel like that maybe it would be a little better. I mean, better. If there were more international students.
Okay.
But for me, anyway, I mean, being an international student, maybe someone from California for me is different from someone, I don't know, coming from Vermont. So is easier for me. But I understand. I mean, I asked this question about American students at the beginning, and they told me that, I mean, especially for the crisis, many international students couldn't afford to come here. So.
All right. Moving on to our second question. How does the SIT environment impact the way of your way of life? Because I know when you're back home in Italy, you may have certain customs, you may study a certain way, or just the overall environment is probably much different than back home. So how is coming here now impacted you?
Yeah, impact in a good way, because environment has like physical environment. I really appreciate to be here, like Vermont, Brattleboro, because I feel like that the arguments, the topics we approach in class are really tough, and the idea to after class just to walk in the middle of a hill with green trees is really relaxing. I mean, I cannot imagine to take SIT like, I don't know, in New York City or Boston or big cities. Talking about like the way of studying, I really appreciate it, because in Italy we have the traditional teaching style with really mnemonic, but I prefer a lot this like practice way, the experiential learning circle.
Okay. And speaking of the learning style, would you say was it hard to adjust coming from that style of learning in Italy to come here and you have more experiential learning?
I would say, although it's really different from the Italian school, I was used to work a lot in this way with Boy Scouts.
Okay.
And this helped me a lot to get used to this way at SIT. I felt like many approaches I already knew them from previous experiences. Yeah.
You said in the previous question I asked you, you said that you wish there were more international students. But then again, you said in answering this question that you enjoyed the environment here in SIT. SIT, we're in Brattleboro, Vermont, and it's not a really diverse area. So you would say you prefer this environment as opposed to that of like the city. Like if you're in New York City somewhere, there'd definitely probably be more international students. So do you think this environment is worth forsaking the having an increased number of international students?
I mean, I think so. I mean, especially for American students, talking with some of them, more than one of them told me, well, I would appreciate if I could, face different cultures and deal with different cultures. So I think it could be better. I mean, not better, but it could work really well. And I mean, as a matter of fact, one of the main values of SAT is being international. And in past years, there were a lot more international students, and I think it makes sense.
Okay. And you would so you're telling me you think the economic downturn or the economic crisis or the recession that the United States was just getting out of, do you think that played a big role in the lack of international students coming?
That's what they told me. Some people of the staff.
Who's they?
Honestly, I don't even remember, because I asked them like in August. I remember my English teacher in August, some advisors, and they told me that one of the main reasons was like the lack of scholarships and these kind of issues.
All right. Moving on to the third question. How does your economic situation impact your experience at SIT?
Well, I'm really lucky because my parents can afford me to study at SAT and to have absolutely dignity, perfect dignity, so I can live downtown, although it's cheaper than out on campus. I
Yeah.
can buy food without any kind of economic trouble. So I would say that, I mean, I don't know exactly impact from which perspective. I think it's that's my situation. So I can deal with SAT pretty well from that kind. I feel like that if I didn't have maybe a lot of finances, for sure, it could be harder to deal with SAT. Yeah.
Well, since your economic situation is good thus far, and it's not really, it hasn't impacted you as hard as other students may be impacted. Do you think that if your economic situation wasn't so good, do you think that would affect you academically?
I don't think so. I don't think so because I feel like I mean, of course, like we have to buy books. Books are really expensive, but I think that once that you find a way to maybe deal with this, maybe sharing even books or whatever, I think that even academically I would be performing the same way. Yeah. I mean, of course, I don't know because this is just an hypothesis, but I think.
Do you know any other international students who may be facing economic problems?
Not really. I mean, I know some international students having like full scholarships or things like that. I mean, I have a small scholarship, so people that, of course, they can afford to do this for scholarships. Okay. So I guess without scholarships, they could not afford to come here.
All right. And what exactly is my final question for you would be, what is your learning experience at SIT?
Well, it's like a revolution from a perspective of content, because I'm learning things and I'm studying things that I completely ignore. Not ignore, but I absolutely didn't have access before. So it's really challenging sometimes. And as I said before about SIT community, I appreciate how professors are available, are really close to students, and how they try to find different approaches to teach rather than just lectures or these kind of things. I appreciate.
Okay, so you would say your overall learning experience has changed from when you were in Italy?
Definitely, yeah. Related exactly about like study, school, yes, because as I said before, it was absolutely different in Italy. It was more traditional, more mnemonic, more exams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you say? Okay. Just going off those questions, why don't we go into your social aspect of your relationship with the SIT community? Do you find do you have strong relationships with the students here?
Yeah, I think that I definitely developed really close friendship here. Of course, not with everyone, but I feel like I met really good and interesting people. Because I mean, I think that all of us is moved from same values, more or less. So I felt comfortable. Then living, for example, downtown, I can live also both environments, downtown and on campus.
So what is the difference between the downtown environment and the on-campus environment? Because there are a few other students who live off campus. So what is?
Well,